Good afternoon, Bhargav. It's Wednesday, the 20th of July. Here's the heads up brief for today. For the Southeast Asia production, we covered 16 issues. In North Asia, we covered 8, and for Australasia and the Pacific Islands, we covered 10. In South Asia, we covered 25 issues, plus the major issues in Europe, Middle East, and Africa.
Hey Uday, let's move on to the main issues today. Thank you.
Great. So, in Thailand, Parliament blocked a bid to re-nominate the Move Forward Party leader, Pita, for the prime ministerial vote yesterday. And this is as the Constitutional Court also suspended him as a member of parliament pending investigation on the case in which he's been accused of holding media shares. So tensions are rising, and there have been protests in Bangkok yesterday, and there's some more coming up today and over the coming days.
All right. Thanks for that. So what is your take on how things are evolving in terms of the prime ministerial candidate? Do you think Pheu Thai party or some other party has a better shot now that he's been suspended?
Yeah, definitely. Now the Pheu Thai party will be able to nominate. They've already actually announced who they want to nominate as prime minister, and their candidate will not be as opposed by the Senate as the Move Forward Party leader. This is because the Pheu Thai party does not want to change the royal defamation laws, which they've stayed clear against.
All right. Thank you. We'll keep a close eye on this and keep our clients updated, please.
Yeah, definitely. In New Zealand, there was a notable criminal incident in Auckland in which at least 2 people were killed and 6 others were wounded during a shooting at a construction site. Authorities got the suspect and killed him. They're investigating the motive. It's not clear yet, but they ruled out terrorism.
All right. Thank you.
And the Solomon Islands is considering forming its own defense forces, and it has apparently consulted Australia on the matter. This is interesting because it comes after the Solomon Islands and China have signed a defense cooperation pact on policing.
That's interesting. Thank you.
In South Asia, the Manipur situation in India continues to worsen as viral videos of sexual abuses are circulated and protests and attacks continue. There's still nothing from the central government and state government in calming down the situation.
All right. So the central paramilitary forces, as well as several divisions of the army, have been deployed in the state. But the critical thing to note here is that the tribal communities are deeply entrenched in some of the most remote parts of the state, especially in the hilly sector. So it is going to be quite challenging to dislodge some of the miscreants in the state for the central forces. In the meantime, it is horrific how things are evolving on the ground. Hopefully, things will be brought under control. And more critical thing is that the tension should not spread to other parts of Northeast where critical infrastructure is either under construction or they're going to be critical for businesses.
Great. Also in India, 5 suspected Lakshadweep terrorists were arrested by the Central Crime Branch in Bangalore in Karnataka. They haven't given more details yet.
All right. So this comes after a series of arrests and other investigations taken by NIA, National Investigative Agency, as well. So it's interesting that the state police are being proactive. So that's a positive news out of this. Thank you.
Yeah. And in Bangladesh, at least 15 workers and security guards were injured in a clash between Bangladeshi and Chinese workers at an under construction power plant in Dhankali in Barisal division. The clash was over dissatisfaction over salaries and allowances. Several vehicles and the power plant's office were also vandalized.
All right. So it is important to note Bangladesh, compared to other developing countries in the region, especially Sri Lanka and Pakistan, have been strategic about engaging with China, whether in terms of investments or loans. Now that they're bringing in Chinese workers for some of the collaborative projects, so it is interesting how things have evolved on the ground. The tensions are unlikely to die down so easily because we need to look at the primary nature of the regions of what we are looking at. For example, Bengal and Bangladesh have one critical characteristic. They're extremely nationalist, and I wouldn't say xenophobic, but as far as their interests are concerned, even at the grassroots level, they're unlikely to let it go. So such tensions are unlikely to die down so easily.
Great. We'll keep an eye out on this. Lastly, in Europe, the grain infrastructure of the Ukrainian and international carriers and traders was destroyed in attacks at a port in Odessa. Some of the affected carriers included the CMA CGM Group, Vitera, and Colonel. 60,000 tons of grain were destroyed by Russian airstrikes.
All right. So this is likely to affect Ukrainian supply of grains as well as some of the indicators in the global food prices as well. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that. And such a destruction was invited by the NATO alliance themselves, as they refused to give in to some of the demands Russia had made to resume or revive the agreement. So thank you. There's nothing further from my end.